Greetings! Mandatory79 here, and welcome back to another deck profile video for Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days! Alright, let's get started. Pressing the A button now. Loading game and proceeding. Here we are in the main menu, going to edit deck menu. And here we are. So in today's video, the deck profile I'm going to be making one for is a Stoicheia's Mysterious Reign Spiritualist Zorga deck, D-BT03. And for the deck I'm building, I'm going to be using this D-BT02 Zorga deck as the base of the deck I'm going to build. Alright, let's begin to edit deck, entering, and here we are. And like I just mentioned before, the deck I'm building today's deck profile video is a Stoicheia's Mysterious Reign Spiritualist Zorga deck, made up of cards only available up until D-BT03. Alright, so first let's go to filter settings and choosing pack. Show only cards from D-BT01, Genesis of the 5 Greats, D-BT02, A Brush of the Legends, D-BT03, Advance of the Intertwined Stars, and Festival Collection 2021. Apply filter. Okay, let's first begin with the Grade 3 lineup. For the Grade 3s of this deck, we're playing Right deck, Grade 3, Mysterious Reign Spiritualist Zorga. Skills for skill, continuous as a Vanguard. When you play a normal order, you can bind a normal order of a different card name from your drop zone and Alchemagic. Combine the costs and add the effect to the back. And the second skill, action as a Vanguard, once per turn. Counterblast 1, if the cost is hate, choose a card from your drop zone and call to rear guard. So for Zorga, it's the main Grade 3 to ride this deck, the first skill. As long as you play an order card from your hand, you can bind a different order card from your drop zone to Alchemagic it. Meaning with this first skill, it's possible to play 2 order cards in a single turn, depending on what you have in your hand and drop zone. And the second skill, just by paying a counterblast of 1, you can superior call any card from your drop zone. So with Zorga's second skill, it's going to more or less secure yourself a attacker or a specific skill you wish to use by calling a specific card from the drop zone. So for Zorga, we got 4 in the deck, 1 the right deck, keeping it that way. Next up, Grade 3, normal order, Cursed Souls, Squirming and Agony. Skills, play with a Soul Blast of 2, if the cost is hate. Look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 unit card from among them, call it to rearguard circle, and discard the rest. If during Alchemagic, call up to 2 cards instead of 1 to the rearguard circle, and all of this order's called units get plus 5,000 power until end of turn. So for Cursed Soul, Squirming Agony, it's a pretty decent order card to play, as long as you don't mind paying the Soul Blast of 2. You can search the top 4 cards of your deck for a specific rearguard you should call, and if it's Alchemagic, you can call 2 instead of 1, and all cards called by this order will get plus 5,000 power. So this order card is a good way to fill out your rear guards with attackers and boosters. So for Cursed Soul, Squirming Agony, we got 2 in the deck, keeping it that way. Next up, the Grade 3, normal order, Grief, Despair, and Rejection. Skill, play with a counterblast of 1, if the cost is hate. If your Vanguard is Mysterious Reign Spiritualist Zorga, choose 3 of your units, and they get plus 10,000 power until end of turn. So for Grief, Despair, and Rejection, it's an order meant to be played with the Zorga deck. Just by paying a counterblast of 1, 3 of your units, your Vanguard and Rearguard, will get plus 10,000 power. So this order is a good way to pressure your opponent with more high-powered attacks. So for Grief, Despair, and Rejection, we got 4, taking 1 out, playing 3 in the deck. Next up, the Grade 3, normal order, Regurgitation from the Underworld. Skill order, play with a Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1, if the cost is hate. Choose any player's rearguard and retire it. Choose up to 1 card the same grade as that card from your drop zone, call to rearguard circle. If this part of Alchemagic, you may choose up to 2 cards instead of 1 to call. So for Regurgitation of the Underworld, it's another decent order card to play in your Stoicheia decks. Just by paying a cost of Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1, you'll be able to take any player's rearguard, either yours or your opponent's, and retire it. Then you can superior call up to 1 or 2 of the same grade from your drop zone to your rearguard. So for Regurgitation from the Underworld, it's a good order that not only let you wipe out one of your opponent's rear guards, but to let you superior call 1 to 2 new rear guards to attack and boost with to fill out your field. So for Regurgitation from the Underworld, we're playing 2 in the deck, okay? Next up, the Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2s in this deck, we're playing right deck, Grade 2, Black Tears Husk Dragon, skill, for skill, auto. When this unit is placed in the Vanguard circle, choose up to 1 normal order from your drop, put into your hand. Second skill, continuous as a rear guard. If you play an order to start, this unit gets plus 5,000 power. So for Black Tears Husk Dragon, he's the main Grade 2 to ride his deck. His first skill, just by riding him onto the Vanguard, you can take any normal order from your drop zone and add to your hand. So for this first skill, it's a good way to more or less restock your hand of order cards to play with with any skills you wish to use. And the second skill, whenever you play an order on that turn, during that turn, Black Tears gets plus 5,000 power. So for Black Tears Husk Dragon, as long as you've played an order, he can serve as a 15,000 point attacker from the front row. So for Black Tears, you got 1 in the right deck, keeping it that way. Next up, Grade 2, Inheritance Maiden, Hindrina, skills for skill, auto. When this unit is placed in the rear guard circle, you may discard 3 cards from the top of your deck. And second skill, action as a rear guard, retire this unit if the cost him hate until end of turn. The next time you would Alchemagic an order and play it, you may choose not to pay all of that cost Soul Blast. So for Hindrina, she's a support card for your Zorga decks. Her first skill, just by calling her to the rear guard, you have the choice to drop 3 cards from the top of your deck. So for this first skill, it's a good way to fill out your drop zone with cards you can use. For example, order cards to Alchemagic with, or rear guards to Superior Call with Zorga's skill. And the second skill, as long as you don't mind retiring Hindrina from your own rear guard, you'll be able to reduce more or less cancel out the cost of any Soul Blast requiring Alchemagic orders from your drop zone to play. So for Hindrina, we got 2 in the deck, putting 1 in, we're playing 3 in the deck. Next up, Grade 2, Fleet Swallower, not going to play this anymore, so taking it out. Next up, the Grade 2 normal order, Nectar of Sensationalism. Skill order, choose 1 of your rear guards until end of turn. It gets plus 5,000 power for every 5 cards in your drop, and if your drop has 15 or more cards, it gets plus 1 critical. So for Nectar Sensationalism, it's a pretty powerful order to play in your Stoicheia Nation decks. For its skill, one of your rear guards will get plus 5,000 power for every 5 cards in your drop zone, and if the number of cards in your drop zone exceed 15, you'll be able to get 1 plus 1 critical. So this order is a good way to give your rear guard a huge boost of power and potential plus 1 critical to pressure and possibly finish off your opponent. So for Nectar of Sensationalism, we got 3 in the deck, taking 1 out. We're going to be playing 2. Okay, next up, we're putting in the Grade 2 Shadow Cloak, skills for skill, auto. When this unit is placed in the rear guard circle from hand, choose from your deck up to 1 order card and reveal it. If your drop does not have a card of the same name as that card, discard the revealed card, shuffle your deck. And second skill, auto as a rear guard. When you play an order, Soul Blast 1. If the cost him hate, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn. If it was Alchemagic, choose 1 of your other rear guards and you may return to hand. So for Shadow Cloak, it's a pretty, more or less like a support card for the Zorga decks. The first skill, just by calling it from the hand, you can search your deck for any order card and add it to your hand. And then if you already have another copy of that order in your drop zone, you'll be able to keep it instead of discarding it. So this first skill is a good way to secure an order card to play and to possibly Alchemagic with. And the second skill, whenever you play an order, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets plus 5,000 power. If it was Alchemagic, choose 1 of your other rear guards and return to hand. So for the second skill, whenever you play an order card, as long as you don't mind paying a Soul Blast of 1, you can give power to Shadow Cloak. And if you activated Alchemagic, you can choose 1 of your other rear guards and return to hand. So for the second skill, it's a good way to not only make Shadow Cloak a potential 15,000 point attacker for your front row, but also to return a rear guard with a on-call skill whose skill you can reuse later just by simply recalling it. So for Shadow Cloak, we're playing 3 in the deck, okay? And now for the Grade 1 lineup. For the Grade 1 to this deck, we're playing right deck, Grade 1, Rancor Chain, skills for skill, action as a Vanguard once per turn, cost, Soul Blast 1. If the cost him hate, draw 2 cards, choose up to 1 order card from your hand and discard it. And if you did not discard, choose 2 cards from your hand and discard them. Second skill, continuous as a rear guard. If you played an order this turn, this unit gets plus 2,000 power. So for Rancor Chain, it's the main Grade 1 to ride this deck. Its first skill, Just by Soul Blasting 1, you'll be able to draw 2 new cards at the cost of discarding an order from your hand. So as long as you've got an order in your hand to discard later, a Rancor Chain is a good way to restock your hand early on when you ride in the Vanguard. And a second skill, as long as you played an order on that turn, Rancor Chain can serve as a 10,000 point attacker and 10,000 point booster from the back row. So for Rancor Chain, we got 1 in the right deck, keeping that way. Next up, the Great One, Planner Prevent Dragon, Sentinel, Perfect Guard, skills, first skill, continuous, Sentinel, second skill, auto. When this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, choose one of your units. It cannot be hit until end of battle. If your hand has 2 or more cards, choose a card from your hand and discard it. So for Planner Prevent Dragon, it's a perfect guard for the Stoicheia Nation decks. Like any other perfect guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill activation. When used to guard with, by discarding a card from your hand, you can completely block one enemy attack, but it also features an ability unique to all these standard format perfect guards. When used to guard with while you have less than 2 cards in hand, you will not have to pay the usual discard 1 cost, making Planner Prevent Dragon a no-cost perfect guard in desperate last resort situations. So for Planner Prevent, we got 4 in the deck, keeping it that way. Next up, the Great One, Normal Order, Spiritual Body Condensation, Skill, Order, play with a Soul Blast of 1. If the costume hate, choose a card from your hand equal to or less than your Vanguard from your drop zone, called to Rearguard Circle, and it gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn. So for Spiritual Body Condensation, it's a pretty good order card to play in your Stoicheia Nation decks. At the mere cost of a Soul Blast of 1, you'll be able to Superior Call any unit from your drop zone that's equal or lower grade to your Vanguard, called to the rear guard, and it gives us 5,000 power. So this order card is a good way to not only spread out your field of a potential attacker or booster, but to also give it a little extra power to work with. So for Spiritual Body Condensation, we got 2 in the deck, keeping it that way. Next up, the Great One, Rogue Headhunter, skills for skill, continuous as a rear guard. If you played an order this turn, this unit gets plus 5,000 power. Second skill, auto. When this unit is placed in the rear guard circle, the next time you would Alchemagic an order and play in this turn, reduce that cost by Counterblast 1. Reduce from the total cost, do not countercharge even if it becomes negative. Silver Rogue Headhunter is another support card for the Zorga decks, the first skill. Just by playing an order for that turn, the Rogue Headhunter will get power boost, serving as a potential 13,000 point attacker or 13,000 point booster from the back row. Second skill, when called to the rear guard during that turn, you'll be able to reduce the cost of Alchemagic orders by Counterblast 1. So this second skill is a good way to reduce the cost for high Counterblast requiring order cards to use their skills. So for Rogue Headhunter, we got 4 in the deck, keeping it that way. Next up, the Great One, Sleeve Tucking Bell. Not going to play this card anymore, so removing it from the deck and replacing it with, let's see, we're going to be playing the Great One, Carrion Processing, skill, action as a rear guard, Counterblast 1 and bind this unit. If the costume hate, choose an order card from your drop zone, put it into your hand. So for Carrion Processing, it's a pretty good Stoicheia Nation card to have in your Stoicheia Nation decks. Simply by paying a Counterblast 1 and binding it from the rear guard, you can take any order from your drop zone and add to your hand. This is securing yourself a order card to play with to take advantage of its effect. So for Carrion Processing, we're playing 2 in the deck, okay. And now for the Great Zero lineup. For the Great Zero's deck, we're playing right deck, Great Zero, Dream Nibbling, skill, auto. When this unit is ridden upon, if you went second, draw a card. So for Dream Nibbling, it's the starting unit of this deck. Just by riding on top of him, if you went second, you can draw a card. So for Dream Nibbling, we've got 1 the right deck, keeping it that way. And next up, the Trigger lineup. For the triggers of this deck, we're playing the Great Zero, Sylvanhorn Beast, Jackalope. Not going to play this anymore, taking it out and replacing it with the Great Zero, Aspiring Maiden Alana, critical trigger, skill, auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. Cost, put this unit into your soul. Choose one of your units. It gets plus 2,000 power until end of turn. So for Alana, she's a pretty powerful critical trigger to play in your Stoicheia Nation decks. For skill, after boosting an attack, regardless if it hits or not, as long as you don't mind moving her from your rear guard into your soul, you can then choose one unit on your field, either your Vanguard or rear guard, and give it plus 2,000 power. So for Alana, she's a good way to not only restock your soul for later soul blasts, but to also give your remaining attackers a little extra power to work with. So for Alana, we're playing 4 of her. Okay, next up, the Great Zero, Abyss Temptation, critical trigger, we're playing 4. Then next, the Great Zero, Frenzied Heiress, front trigger, skill, continuous as a guardian. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield. So for Frenzied Heiress, she's a pretty powerful front trigger to play in your Stoicheia Nation decks. Her skill, just by when guarding with her, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, she gets plus 5,000 shield, effectively making Frenzied Heiress a 20,000 point shield all on her own. So for Frenzied Heiress, we got 4 in the deck, taking 1 out, we're playing 3. And next up, the Great Zero, Elegy Pixie, heal trigger. We're playing 4 of it in the deck, keeping it that way. And last but not least, the Great Zero, Source Dragon Deity of Blessings plus Favor, over trigger, skill, trigger, additional effect, draw a card, choose one of your units, it gets plus 1 critical until end of turn. All of your front row units gets plus 10,000 power. If your damage zone has the same number of cards as your opponent or more, choose a card from your damage zone and heal it. So for Blessed Favor, it's the over trigger for the Stoicheia Nation. Like any other over trigger in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When revealed during a drive check or damage check, you can get 100 million power and draw a card, but it also features a skill unique to it alone. Its skill, when revealed during a drive check on your turn, you can not only draw a card, give one of your units Vanguard or Rearguard plus 10,000 plus 1 critical, and then all your front row units get plus 10,000 power, and if you have the same or more damage to your opponent, you can heal 1. So effectively, Blessed Favor is kind of like all of the D standard format triggers, the draw trigger, critical trigger, front trigger, and heal trigger all into 1 card. Okay, so for Blessed Favor, we have 1 in the deck, keeping it that way. Alright, the deck has been built, card effects explained, so now let's just save the deck, override deck being built, yes. And for the cards we're playing this deck, we're playing 4, Grade 3, Mysterious Reign Spiritualist, Zorga. 2, Grade 3, Cursed Soul, Swerving in Agony. 3, Grade 3, Grief, Despair, and Rejection. 2, Grade 3, Regurgitation from the Underworld. 3, Grade 2, Inheritance Maiden, Hendrina. 1, Grade 2, Black Tears, Husk Dragon. 2, Grade 2, Nectar of Sensationalism. 3, Grade 2, Shadow Cloak. 4, Grade 1, Planar Prevent Dragon. 2, Grade 1, Spiritual Body Condensation. 1, Grade 1, Rancor Chain. 4, Grade 1, Rogue Headhunter. 2, Grade 1, Carrion Processing. 1, Grade 0, Dream Nibbling, starting unit. And for the triggers of this deck, we're playing 8 critical triggers, 3 front triggers, 4 heal triggers, and last but not least, 1 over trigger, Blessed Favor. Alright, deck has been built, card effects explained, now it's time to test out the deck, so let's first leave the deck menu, returning to main menu, to fight menu, selecting CPU fight, and now selecting the deck to play with, selecting the deck I just built, the Stoicheia Nations, Mysterious Spiritualist, Zorga deck, D-BT03, selecting deck, now choosing an opponent. The opponent I'm going to test this deck out on, let's see, who would be a good opponent to test it out on, let's see. Alright, I'm going to test it out against Zakuza Ishigame, normal difficulty. And the battle begins, let's get started. Alright, deciding who goes first. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Paper to scissors, I lose, going second. Alright, first let's get our starting hands out. Alright, I drew 2 critical triggers, a Shadow Cloak, Rogue Headhunter, and Spiritual Body Condensation. Alright, for the redraw, let's see. I should hold on to these two to call an attack with, and I should hold on to one order card to play, so I guess I'll just redraw the two criticals, redraw. Okay, another order and a heal trigger, not bad. Now my opponent's turn, he rides the Great One. Cardinal North Brutus, skill Brutus, he adds an order card to his hand. He's adding Overcoming and Eternity, alright. And that's the end of my opponent's turn, it's my turn, I draw. I'm going to ride from my right deck, Rancor Chain, and for the right deck cost, let's see. I got 2 Rogue Headhunters, a Shadow Cloak, a heal trigger, and 2 order cards. Alright then. I should hold on to the order cards. No wait, I think I'm going to instead discard the grade 3 order card. Nope, I think I'm gonna discard one of the 2 copies of Rogue Headhunter. Gonna hold on to these 2 for attacking with, these 2 to play with, and this one to guard with, so just discarding the extra Headhunter in my hand, discard, ride, Rancor Chain, Nibbling Skill, I draw a card, I drew another heal trigger, not good, Rancor Chain skill, I Soul Blast 1, and draw 2 cards. Yes, a perfect guard and a Zorga! Nice! Absolute defense and a Persona Ride. And for the order card I'm gonna discard Her Soul Screaming and Agony. Alright, then next up, let's see. I'm going to call Rogue Headhunter to the rear guard, call. And activating skill, but nothing to play, so beginning battle phase. My Rancor Chain attacks the Vanguard, Vanguard to Vanguard, the attack goes through, drive check. Yes! Critical trigger, just what I needed. Critical to my Vanguard, power to Headhunter. Effects added. And here comes the damage. Boom! He damages first. No trigger, safe, and second check. Yes, no trigger, perfect guard. Safe. And one less card to defend with, so my Headhunter attacks the Vanguard, 18,000 power. Another attack goes through, slash. Damage check. No trigger, safe. Alright. That's the end of my turn. Not bad, 3 damage in 1 turn. My opponent's turn, he rides the Grade 2, Cardinal Cubizia. He calls Dai and Kagula. Wait, he's not gonna play his order card? Oh well. Okay, he's attacking with 8,000 power. The 2 have 10,000. Okay, then. I have 2 heals and a critical to guard with. I should... I guess I'll... let the first one through. Gotta get some counter blasts in, so... no guard, take the hit. Ow! Damage check. No trigger, okay. Now here comes the Vanguard. No guard, gonna save my hand to block the remaining rear guard. Here it comes, damage check. No trigger, an order card, alright. Out! Damage check. Yes, front trigger, power to the front row. Now the remaining attacker cannot attack. I don't have to use up my hand, so my turn, I draw. I ride from my right deck, Black Tears, Husk Dragon. For the right deck cost, let's see. Husk Dragon skill, I can add any order card from my drop zone to my hand, so no brainer, I'm gonna use. In my drop zone, I've got Cursed Soul, Screaming and Agony, so okay, then I'm first gonna discard Spiritual Body Condensation for the right deck cost. Right Husk Dragon, Husk skill. I add any order from my drop zone back to hand, taking back the condensation I just discarded, returning to hand. Next up, I move, let's see. In my drop zone, I only got 2 normal units, Rogue Headhunter and Dream Nibbling. I only got 1 card to Soul Blast with. I should preserve my order card, so for the time being, I'm just gonna call the rear guard. Shadow Cloak to the rear guard, call, Shadow Cloak skill. I search my deck for an order card. I add. Okay, I'm adding. Let's see. I think I'm gonna add the order card. This is a tough choice. What should I add? Regurgitation or Grief, Despair, and Rejection? Okay, then I think I'm going to add Grief, Despair, and Rejection to my hand. Since I don't have a copy in my drop zone, it goes to the drop zone instead, so that should be enough. Going to battle phase. My Headhunter attacks the rear guard. Calcula, 8k to 8k. The attack goes through. Nice. One rear guard down. And now my Vanguard attacks the Vanguard. 10,000 power. Alright, it goes through. Drive check. Yes! Critical trigger, just what I needed. Critical to my Vanguard. Power to Shadow Cloak. Effects added. Critical. And power. Here comes 2 damage to my opponent. Boom! Damage check first. No trigger, perfect guard, nice. And second check. No trigger, nice. Alright. Now Shadow Cloak attacks the Vanguard, 20,000 power. He guards with critical trigger. And the attack is blocked. Alright, that's the end of my turn. My opponent's turn. He rides. The Grade 3. Cardinal Dominus Orphis Regis. Skill of Regis, he's placing an order card to his order zone and revealing another order card, Eclipse Moonlight. Add to hand, okay. He sets another order card, Overcoming the Eternity, okay. Abyssal Dark Knight active, he calls the Grade 3 Stoicheia, okay. Alright, the Grade 2 attacks the Vanguard, alright. Let's see. I guess I should let the attack from the Vanguard go through, so I'm gonna block the rear guard attack. Gotta hold on to my intercepts since it's the only Grade 2 in my field, so I'm just gonna ditch the critical trigger I revealed in my previous turn. Guard, 25k. Attack blocked. Alright, now here comes my opponent's rear guard. Okay, 13k. I should just let the Vanguard attack go through, so I'm just gonna ditch the critical trigger to block the rear guard attack. Guard, another critical. And alright, attack blocked. Now here comes his Vanguard. Vanguard to Vanguard. Orphis' skill, he Superior calls a Shadow Army token. Okay. Not bad. Alright, then skill of the order card, he's adding power to the Shadow Army token. Again, more power. 25,000, okay. Gonna let the Vanguard attack go through, no guard. Here it comes, Twin Drive, first check. No trigger, order card, and second check. Critical trigger, He's adding the effects critical to Vanguard, power to rear guard, alright. 2 damage to Medan. Here it comes. Ow! Slash and damage check first. Yeah, front trigger. Just what I needed. Power to my front row. And second check. Yes, critical trigger. Just what I needed. All effects to my Vanguard. Not too bad. Now his Shadow Army attacks the Vanguard. 35,000 to 5. Okay, I should hold on to the front trigger for its skill, so my only option is to ditch one of the 2 heal triggers, ditching 1. Guard. 45,000, attack blocked. Alright, now it's my turn. I stand and draw. I write for my right deck, Mysterious Reign Spiritualist Zorga. For the right deck cost, okay, I should hold on to the 2 Zorgas to Persona Ride with, and I guess I should ditch the heal trigger. Alright, ditching the heal trigger for the right deck cost, I write Mysterious Reign Spiritualist Zorga. Alright, and now I'm going to... In my drop zone, I got only a grade 1 and a grade 0. Okay, then. First up, I'm going to activate the order card, Spiritual Body Condensation. I Soul Blast 1, and Alchemagic, Grief, Despair, and Rejection. Soul Blasting, I Soul Blast Black Tears Husk Dragon. Counter Blast 1, Alchemagic. I Superior Call Black Tears to the rear guard over here, and plus power, and giving power to the 3 units of my field. I give it to my Vanguard and my 2 Great 2s in the rear guard. Power up. There we go. And not gonna activate its skill. And this what? All right, I'm gonna activate the skill, Soul Blasting Rancor Chain, and power up. Not gonna return a card to the hand. Then I switch the positions of Headhunter and Black Tears. And finally, I'm activating Zorga's skill, Counter Blast 1, Superior Call a unit from my drop zone. Superior Call, let's see, I'm taking back, I'm Superior Calling Rogue Headhunter to the rear guard in the right column. Its skill, plus 5,000 power. Alright, that should be enough, so that's all I can do. Beginning battle phase. First up, my Vanguard attacks the Vanguard, 23,000 power. My opponent overguards. Yes, no over trigger left in his deck. Twin Drive, first check. No trigger. And second check. No trigger, perfect guard. Not bad. Okay, the attack is blocked. And now here comes my next attack, boosted by Headhunter. Black Tears attacks the Vanguard, 43,000 power. Will it go through? Yes, the attack goes through, and boom! Damage check. No trigger, alright. 6 damage, I win. Not too bad. The deck worked pretty well, so pressing A, and I got win. Double trigger, attack at 40,000 more power, won within 6 turns, did a superior call, drew 3 or more cards in a single turn, so I got 1900 BP, total 10,100 BP, press A to go next, leaving the fight, returning to fight menu. Leaving the fight menu, going back to main menu, and going to edit deck menu. Alright, so I pretty much finished more or less building the deck, explain the card effects, and test out the deck in front of you. And if that's all the time we have for today, so first off I want to say thank you to the viewers for watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you all show support by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing to my videos and channel. And with that I say goodbye and see you.